Hi, everyone. First of all, so nice. It's my first face-to-face presentation or meeting with real people, not by looking into that green dot. So much more comfortable, actually, than looking into that green dot, because you know who is listening, who is not listening. So now at least I see who is sleeping, who is listening. So that's at least good thing. So I'll obviously, the reason of this presentation is to promote Revolut even more, although I guess 90% of the audience already have it or had it in the past. But I'll use the Revolut story as a proxy to what is actually happening with fintech essentially over the last, let's say, few years, but especially with COVID, because COVID accelerated a lot of things, right? Not only for fintechs and these digital banks, but also for e-commerce and many other industries like that, right? Some industries were affected really, really badly, so we're not going to talk about those today, but we're going to talk about those that actually impacted, and in our case, that's actually a positive impact, as you will see, that we will have. It's strange to thank COVID for that, but you know, in that respect, we could probably do that. So I'll talk about Revolut and its current state and some future developments to showcase a more broader fintech agenda, what is happening globally. So I guess I need to click like this. I met the founder of Revolut 6 years ago, maybe a bit more than 6 years ago, half a year before he launched Revolut, in a random conference in London. I was with TransferGo at that time. You probably know the brand, a great company here from Lithuania, great fintech here from Lithuania, great guys. And I was like pretending like I'm on, you know, I know everything. You know, I'm with TransferGo, I'm in fintech. And these guys, they haven't launched yet. And I spoke with Nikolai. He said, oh, you know, what is that? He told, oh, it's going to be free that, and instant and free, and FX free markups. And so I said, this guy has no clue. What's going on? You know, where is the money from? Fast forward 6 years, we have around 15 revenue streams. We've been profitable for a couple of months, not a couple, actually more, but you know, we just started, right? So it was launched in 2015. I remember I met him after a month after he launched, and I said, how is this Revolt Revolution thing going? I said, not bad, you know, 30,000 users. I said, how many? 30,000. I had to check TransferGo's numbers back, you know, after 4 years back then, and it was almost equal. Then what we also achieved with retail users is well over 15 million users, and well over 500,000 business users. Small, big, really, really big. Although we are not that tailored for really, really big businesses yet. We just started because, you know, it's all sorts of stuff that big business wants us to tailor for them. So we started on that, but small freelancers, small businesses and medium businesses, that's what's happening there. And if you look at the Revolut's first investment pitch deck, right? That, you know, startups are showing the investors, especially in the early stage, and in any stage, but early stage. So if you look for the seed round pitch before they launched, it's still live, you can Google it, you will see that their forecast, essentially 5 years from now, what it is currently, had 400,000 users forecasted in that pitch deck. You know, so this is an example when forecast goes really wrong, but in a positive manner. Then operations in 35 plus countries, but I think it's 40 plus countries. Then it's 2,000. I mean, we had to update these presentations almost like every week because the number is growing that fast. It's 2,500 employees now, and total investment to date is almost $1 billion. And some would argue, and especially, you know, you meet someone, oh, how these companies can be non-profitable and raise so much capital. But this is the thing, to accelerate the growth and then have this trajectory, which will go down, and then hopefully, still hopefully, right? There's no guarantees, as you know, anyway. Hopefully reach the, you know, amazing growth. That's what is needed. Just yesterday, some of you may followed that new bank, the bank who only operates in Brazil and Mexico, raised $750 million by the guys like Warren Buffett. Right? So Warren Buffett put $500 million. They wouldn't do that before, right? They bought or they invested in the Bank of America, as far as I remember, the traditional legacy bank. And now they see that, okay, these neobanks and new challenger banks, they are making a difference. That's why they're putting the money. So it's only the beginning. And in our case, we are on the good path as Revolut, representing that part of the business, those top 10 probably globally best current investments for anyone who wants to be part of that journey. And big part is that we are so proud to be licensed as a big chunk of our licensing, at least the biggest number of users, both on electronic money institution license, EMI, and on the banking license, is actually going through the Bank of Lithuania licenses, right? We have many other licenses all over the place in UK and elsewhere, but the biggest chunk, whereas our biggest number of users, Europe, EU, is based through there. And on that one, I'd like to stop a bit and just to reiterate of an amazing success that actually the Bank of Lithuania, Invest Lithuania, Finance Ministry, and the focus of the government and the country was able to achieve. Because this thing, colleagues from Singapore, from Japan, from America, from Canada, are sharing these things. And how come, like Lithuania is really becoming a super hub for fintech globally, at least in their perception sometimes, right? Sometimes the expectations is a bit bigger than it is in reality, right? But in many cases, it's really working out. Countries, I'm not going to mention the names of the countries, but let's say Germany and Poland, the colleagues there are really envy because they see that the central banks and the governments are not that proactive. So big thank you for the we all know the names, right? Like Marius Jurgilas and Ekaterina Govina and Vitas Vasiliauskas, the former governor, for the truly amazing push to make Lithuania a fintech hub in Europe for sure. After, if we, let's say EU, right? So Europe minus UK, where FCA is, with the largest number of licenses issued. So that's a really good stuff, which is like, really making and promoting us as our basketball is promoting us, or any other big achievements in non-related areas. So fintech is really one of those areas. So just to touch a bit on Revolut in the Baltics, as globally we are expanding so heavily and so much, and the sky is the limit. We just started. In the Baltics, we're also making some progress. And this is also just a snapshot of representation of how COVID influenced things and how COVID accelerated things. I saw this other slide that actually what COVID did to e-commerce last year was almost like 10 years acceleration in terms of the share of retail that e-commerce gained over the last year than it was forecasted, let's say in 2018, that it will take. I saw that on Vitas Kubilius Google Heads for Baltics slide. So transactions grew 10x. Over the last year, right? I guess for our, let's say local competitors, traditional banks, that's probably similar, but probably not. But maybe 20% or so. In our case, it's 10x. Contactless, that grew to, now it's even more, 95% or so, but over the last year, it grew to 92%. Before that, it was, in 2019 was around 79%. And another thing here, that we were, and I still are the only provider probably in the Baltics with disposable virtual cards. It's so amazing because let's not forget the fraud incidents and the cybersecurity issues also grew along all this e-commerce and fintech sector, right? So what happened? People turned into almost like 100% secure disposable virtual card solution where they just enter the virtual card number once, they buy the service or whatever, and that's it. That number disappears, and no one else can use that number anytime in their life, right? So that also was really big impact. 500,000 customers and more than that in total, 20% growth or so. And with our banking license, we were able to add 11 additional countries in the EU on top of Lithuania and launch the credit services, so credit cards and consumer loans in Lithuania and Poland. Again, it's only the start. The aim is to have the whole Europe, right? Every single country in Europe. It's probably not going to happen soon. I'm pretty sure it's going to take 2 or 3 years to do that. I know that those timelines sound a bit even too optimistic for us as well, leave alone for traditional banks. So moving forward, where is the focus and what is the, not the end game, I say, but again, maybe 2-3 years horizon where we are going, and I'm pretty sure all of our, let's say, top 5 or 10 big competitors globally are going to. So InsurTech is slowly becoming one of those focus areas, because once you have a consumer within the financial services area, InsurTech, or bank assurance as it's known in traditional banking area, right, where you can grab the customer by the hand and offer something, you know, on demand when they travel, or you know, or when they buy something, or you know, they want to insure the pets. Apparently, pet robbery is increased 3 times in UK. I don't know how is that possible. Everyone is staying at home, right? Working from home, and apparently they're stealing pets in UK. So a lot of pet insurance promotions happening in the UK. No, really, you can see it in outdoor, like amazing boom for pet insurance in the UK. So we are adding that as well sometime soon. Business banking, that's inevitable, right? Because the end game there is not rocket science, right? To create the ecosystem where B2C and B2B, you know, transactions and processes would be seamless. We are testing acquiring solutions in the UK. We're going to start testing here soon as well, where you know, merchants would be able to collect payments from Revolut users seamlessly on their websites, on down the line, obviously, on the physical POS terminals as well, and save a lot, especially when you know the user is not from that country and there is FX exposure to their business. Open banking, amazing numbers. We see a tremendous you know, growth there by after we integrated with the TrueLayer, I think, the open banking provider. Any other like daily use features which make their lives better, right? Leave alone the security features that, you know, you have like now so many of them. We were pioneers, obviously, and the rest of traditional banks copied us. Part of that, of those features, we're adding Vols and Junior, Revolut Junior to educate junior people how to save money better. Or if you do that, you'll get that, because nowadays less and less people use cash. Right, so I have trouble to give a coin or two to my son, 6-year-old son, to put into the piggy bank. He has 3 piggy banks and like 5 coins, right? So that's a real problem, right? I'm waiting when he reaches 7 years old. I can get him Revolut card. He'll have this Revolut kind of profile on the app, and he'll be able to see, you know, I save him for Lego, and I kind of donate that when he cleans the room or whatever, right? So really, even that part is going that. Leave alone, you know, down the line, I'm not sure how these street musicians are still collecting money in Vilnius. I haven't seen them for a while, but in London, it's like every second one of them already has the terminals. So instead of like putting the coins there, throwing the coins, you tap that into the terminal, and you know, it's a win-win, right? I haven't been to Garune. I wonder how many of those merchants started accepting cards nowadays. So just to finalize, what I wanted to say is that paradoxically, we as a business, it was a good year for us. We thank COVID, not for the reasons that are obviously, you know, very damaging and depressing that COVID, you know, in terms of the health situation and so on, but it accelerated every single business line for us and got us focused. And I hope that it also was, or you know, positive for many, you know, I'm not sure who is the majority of the audience. I don't want to say maybe you're from manufacturing and you're on the bankruptcy level, but I hope it will get better. So thanks for your attention, and ready for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Really great and really exciting. So I have one question, and then maybe if you agree, we'll take one from the audience.
Sure.
But my one question is, so you told us this very great story about the investor deck and 400,000, and now you have 15 million. What's your investor deck saying about after 5 years? What are you going to have? Yeah, exactly.
One, unfortunately, is I think it's closer to reality. Right? So the current one is focusing. I'm not going to share any numbers, but you can also find some speculation that we are raising the round, and that's, again, that's not. Of course, we need that money, but we need that money to expand further and down the line become even more profitable, right? We could just be profitable and exist, right? But anyway, so it's a mixture now. So we have to really show the sustainability of the business, which we have done over the last year or a half. It focuses on engagement. It focuses on new business lines, becoming a bank and putting, let's say, more services, banking services into people's hands. Obviously, credit is one of those services, right? And us being the best solution in the market, at least here in Lithuania, our aim is to to have 100% of market share. I know it sounds stupid, and it is, but but at least that's our ambition level, right? When we approach any. So I cannot disclose anything else. As I haven't seen the pitch deck myself.
Thank you. So one question. Who would like to ask a question? I know there are. Okay. Okay, well, then I'll ask the second one. So what's, and of course, you are a super growing company and success story, widely recognized. And we, of course, all wish you greater success. But what do you see as the biggest risk for you and other neobanks? What could be the biggest hurdle?
The biggest hurdle, or biggest risk, or biggest challenge? I don't know. The risk could be anything, right? So the risk, no one. I don't think anyone accounted for COVID, right? If you're in traditional business, it probably even at the beginning of 2019, you didn't put COVID or epidemic in your business plan as a risk, right? No one probably did that. So in our case. Could be anything, right? Could be any kind of black swan, any kind of cyclical kind of downsizing of the economic crisis again, like big one, or anything, like aliens or something. But the challenge, I can talk about the challenge, and especially let's say for those. Situated here, because with all these licenses, with all this attention for Lithuania, what happened, we have great people, we have great talent, but the more and more players come to the market, we start stealing from each other. I mean, what's the right word for the audience? Poaching talent from each other, and that's becoming a challenge. Yeah. But that's also on the global level, because the competitions, the local competitions, global competitions are intensifying everywhere. And the talent, the right talent, is really a big challenge. Regulation is fine. We'll sort out the regulation. It's fine.
Andrew, thank you very much. And thanks for staying for the questions.